Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at the story publishing module. To do this, we go to the story section in the left menu, and here we have the story publishing module. With this module, you can publish stories to your account. The most important thing is to familiarize yourself with the important information located at the bottom. Another point I'd like to mention is to keep in mind that not all account geos, far from all countries, can publish stories without a premium account. So before doing this, test it out. For example, as of now, England can publish stories, but this data changes from time to time because Telegram changes the geos that can publish stories without premium every month. Therefore, before working with this module, manually test the geo you are working with. Premium accounts, on the other hand, can all publish stories. Next, let's move on to the software settings. Here, we specify how many stories we will publish for one account and the delay between publishing stories. We select the accounts from which we will publish. Then, you can choose to publish stories only for contacts or for everyone. This is the privacy setting when publishing a story. If you haven't worked with stories yet or don't know how things work, I recommend manually taking an account to see how everything is set up and how it works, and so on. Next, regarding file distribution, as you will be posting stories, the content for the story will be taken from files, either an image or a video. If it's a video, it must be in MP4 format, and keep in mind that the video length should not exceed 1 minute. If the video is longer than 1 minute, it won't upload. There are such limitations at the moment. They might change from time to time. But for now, videos longer than 1 minute cannot be published in stories. If you choose randomly, random files will be taken from the selected ones. If you choose uniquely, files will be taken in turn. If you want one of your files, whether a video or photo, to be published only in one story, for example, if you select the number of stories for one account as 2 and select 4 accounts, you need to choose 8 files and specify uniquely here. If you want it to be random, then choose randomly, and the files will be taken randomly. We select files, which can be either photos or videos. Another important point is that by default, it's set to show only photos in the specified location on the computer. If you choose video, there's an option here to select video files. Or you can choose all files, so you'll see not just images. For example, let's select all images and click Open. This way, we've selected 4 files. In this module, you can also add a description to the story. So, some description will be added if you need it. This field also supports spin tags, which means if we specify it like this, a random option will be taken for each story. Next, we can tag users in this module. I'll save this right away. Test it first. Don't set some outrageous values or high limits. First, try tagging 3 to 4 people on one account. Check the account to see how the user tags will come through in personal messages, notifying them that you tagged them in the story. Run tests with a second account. For example, tag 6 to 7 people. You can test even higher, and based on that, draw conclusions, because different countries behave differently at different times. So, you need to check these points in advance to avoid a situation where you re-tagging, for example, 50 tags on one story, and it turns out that only 5 people are tagged. while the other 45 go unnoticed. So, test it out. Usernames of the users are specified here, and the software randomly picks from this list. The format, as you can see, can be different links, with or without the symbol. We'll specify it like this, and here you indicate the number of users per story. How many users to tag in one story is set from a range, and for each story, the software takes a random value from the given range. There is also a delay between preparing users, meaning before tagging users. There will be a certain delay you specify that here too. I'll repeat, play around with the delays, see how it goes. Run tests. There is no specific template that works for all countries, all accounts, and so on. On premium accounts, of course, the limits are higher, and in this case, the number of publications and stories can be greater. So run your own tests. Next, we click to launch this module. I didn't mention, but the stream control option here is similar. If you don't enable the stream control option in the module, the number of streams will be taken from the software settings. Then the software connects and starts publishing stories. Begins tagging users. As you can see, our delay between users is working. We specified it from 5 to 10 seconds. Next comes the publication. Next, we have a delay of 20 to 40 seconds between stories. We have that here as well. We indicated to publish 2 stories per account. Next, we see that our software has created databases. The databases in this case are a text file, a statistics database, a user database, and a stories database. Now the module will finish its task, and I will go through each of them and show you. Although, in principle, we can immediately open the statistics database, and we see links to the stories that each account created. Next is the file, the link to the published file, and the description. It's loading right now. How many users were tagged, meaning that's the tagging and the status. Since our file distribution was unique, the software completed its task without publishing the second story. If we choose randomly, then all our selected files will be used even in a loop. But since in this case we chose 4 accounts and we have 4 files, only 4 stories were published. In the text file, we just have links to the stories. I already showed you the statistics, and in the user database, we have, first of all, the first users from the list we specify, along with their corresponding statuses, whether they were marked successfully or not. Also, don't forget that there is spamming here, and spamming, like in any other module, is dealt with through delays and quantity, and everything depends on the accounts. These are exactly the nuances I mentioned earlier. If you want to continue working with the same users, but from different accounts, at this moment, take users from the database and delete those with a status of done. Those who were successfully marked, and then copy, for example, the usernames. Just paste them into the list for the upcoming accounts. In principle, then that's all regarding this module, but the main thing is to remember the points I mentioned earlier. Conduct tests, test things out, and another point regarding application. Here, everyone decides on the applications of this module for themselves, since everyone has their own goals and tasks. So, conduct tests and draw conclusions about the functionality. I showed you, and as I mentioned, You can also choose videos. The main thing to remember is that the video length should not exceed 1 minute and the format should be MP4. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.